Okay, I have a battle with Bryan0000 from PWBA, and it was a good game until the hacks happened that I didn't need to happen. Like, if the hacks didn't happen, the game would have been so much different. But it is what it is, and there were some ridiculous hacks that just made me mad and laugh at the same time. I send out Wigglytuff, he sends out Bastiodon, and simple lead, set up Stealth Rock, he sets up Stealth Rock, get things going. Now this team needs a spinner really badly for the Pokemon it has on it, basically, and I can't find a spinner, so I've been taking the spinner spot with Macargo, just to get that out in the clear. So I switch out to Wishcash, and he Toxics, either predicting the switch or predicting the stay in, which was good for him. Good move. Now, I don't know what I was thinking. I must have been like dozing off, because I knew he was going to switch predicting the Earthquake, and I was so close to hitting Spark. But I Earthquake anyway, because I didn't want to over-predict. And I get hit with Intimidate anyway. I'm banded, by the way. Earthquake, and that's that. Now, I don't know if he knows I'm banded, but he gets him a free DD. And as soon as I saw the DD, I was thinking sweep. Like, no joke. Like, I thought I was going to get swept. So, I bring in Glalie, gets hit with Stealth Rock. He Dragon Dances up as predicted, as all gears do. And he was thinking for a little bit on what he wanted to do. I was scared of Bastiodon coming in, and I had to get Gira out of the way so bad, because I didn't want to get swept by it. So, I decide to blow up. So I blow up, and the EV spread on this Glalie is meant to take out bulky Giras almost 100% of the time, and it lives with like 4 HP. Like, what's with that? That was just awful. That made me so mad. So it didn't die. Now I bring in my Wigglytuff, not knowing if it could take the hit or not, even though it does. It is a defensive set. And I was just thinking, like, in my mind, I'm gonna get swept. I'm gonna get swept so bad, so much. Now he waterfalls, and with max defense and 212 HPs, that did just over half. And I was so proud of this thing. Like, you don't even know. Like, Wigglytuff, like, has a new twinkle in my eye. It's right there next to Hitmontop for me at the moment. So he sends in Lucario, and I should have stayed in knowing he was gonna Swords Dance, but and use Body Slam to get Parahacks on it maybe. But I ended up switching, and the switch ended up being for the worst, actually, because I could have used my Wish Cast in a later time of the match for what he had on his team. Oh yeah, I still have a cold, by the way. But he Swords Dances up, and I thought this thing had Sash, and I didn't know if I'd live in a Swords Dance Sash close combat. But he close combats, and I die. And I see life orb damage, so I'm going to need another battle with somebody to see if my Wish Cast can live a Swords Dance close combat. But again, this is another part where I thought I was gonna get swept, because I didn't know if the thing had crunch or not, and I was like, I didn't want to get swept. So I bring in Minun, which was completely unnecessary. I mean Plusle. Ugh. So I bring in Plusle, and this thing has extreme speed. No. This is what I'm talking about. I need a spinner. This Plusle has counter, and it could have easily stroked the Lucario, but well, you already know, Stealth Rock Focus Ashes don't really mix together. So I send out Gardevoir, and I didn't know if it had Crunch, and this was like my last bit of hope. So now, use Shadow Ball. This is a special defense drop. I thought it had Crunch, and I was proud. I was so happy when I saw Shadow Ball. So I was like, okay, now I have a chance. So, use Psychic, takes it out easily, and a little bit of leftovers recovery. And he decides what he wants to send in, but in the end he ends up bringing in a Zangoose, which I thought was banded, by the way, and I thought it had Pursuit. So I was like debating on what I wanted to do, and I knew that if I stayed in on the Pursuit I would live regardless, but he Shadow Claws and it caught me off guard. I was fearing a crit so bad, but I ended up living with 3 hit points. It would have been so epic if it was 1, but I get a burn off, and I think that if I use Psychic, it would have been able to take it out. I'm not 100% completely sure, but I switch and I bring out my Wigglytuff again. Takes Stealth Rock damage, brings me down there, and uses X Scissor. Now he gets a crit, and that made me mad a little bit because he was getting hacked when he didn't need it, and it was just overkill, and it made the match so lopsided, in my view anyway. So he slashes, and it brings me down to 55 hit points, and I wish up. And I know after leftovers recovery, nothing in his attack arsenal can take me out, basically. Nothing. Not even max damage. I did the calc, and he uses X Scissor, and he gets a crit. Like, what kind of stuff is that? I mean, you didn't get a crit on Slash, but you decided to get a crit on X Scissor. Oh, man, I love the irony in that. If it is irony, I'm not completely sure. Don't feel like looking up the definition of the word. But I'm deciding on what I want to bring in. I end up bringing in Gary the Snail. Totally epic, except it's fire, not water. But use a Shadow Claw, which does Jack Frost even after the crit. I stole King Kong's word. But he dies anyway, and he brings in a Machamp, and I'm not 150% sure that with the HP I'm at, a Dynamic Punch would take me out, but he ends up having Earthquake instead. Like, Earthquake on a Machamp is like, it's useless. There's no reason for it whatsoever. But he does. Not a big deal. And I send out Gardevoir to take the Stealth Rock damage, and for the end of the match. So, good game, dude. And you guys, comment, rate, subscribe, I guess.